Hi, and happy National Be Somebody Day. You know, when American Idol came on TV, it was the most popular show on the air. In fact, those early years, it was one of the most popular shows of all time. The premise of the show was taking somebody, a nobody, and making them into somebodies. It encouraged the viewers that were there it gave them a chance for each of us to feel that we could become great someday. That is, of course, if we cut into the line and we wouldn't spend all the time plugging away from before others see our true potential. You know, some people that takes just a half second. Other people, it takes a lifetime. And in fact, shows like American Idol, and there's been a lot of duplicates since then, give each of us hope that we too will be discovered one day by our boss, by somebody important. Paul accounts of Abraham in Romans chapter 4, starting with verse 17 and 18. He said, "As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations. Moreover, him who he believed, even God, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth these things which be as though they were. Who against hope believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which God had spoken, so shall thy seed be." You know, when you think about Scripture, you think about Abraham. You know what? He was a nobody. He was a nothing. And yet God looked through the annals of time and saw this man and said, "Listen, if you do what I tell you, I'll make you the father of a great nation." Or as we read in this scripture, nation. His grandson, great-grandson, Joseph, he was hated by his brothers. He was like the 12th child of 13. He was a nobody. Matter of fact, he snitched on his brothers. They beat him up. They threw him in a well. They sold him into slavery. He ended up in Egypt. He was a slave, and then he became a prisoner. And somehow God used him and rose him and elevated him to the number 2 man of all of Egypt. Think of King David. King David was a nobody. He was a shepherd, taking care of his father's flock. It wasn't even his flock. It was his father's flock. He was a nobody. And yet God spoke to him and rose him up and elevated him to the king of all of Israel. In fact, the throne which David will sit on is the throne of David. Well, if we want to move ahead a few years later, we got Mary and Joseph, 2 young lovers just waiting to get their marriage going. What happens? God tells them, "I need to use you." Now, what do all these people have in common? Well, I'll tell you. They were all nobodies who became somebody for one reason and one reason only. You know what that reason was? They obeyed God. You know what? If you want to be somebody in the eyes of God, obeying him is the first thing you need to do. And that's my thought for today. Be a somebody. Obey God. God bless.